Gone on a tangent there. I can't remember what I was talking about. I lost my train of thought. I'm talking about confidence. What was the last thing I said? Did I say greatest strength and greatest weakness?
I can't remember. I'm still laughing inside. I'm smashing you at the end.
Oh, bloody hell. Phil, you have to keep that one in. That's funny. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the podcast Chatzzz. And we've got a very, very special guest today. Mike, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me. Special guest, me, really.
Very special guest, super special guest. So I think we first connected last year, wasn't it, really? Well, was it summer?
Yeah, we had a brief conversation in Starbucks, wasn't it?
Yeah, in Starbucks. And then, did it ask you to be on the podcast then or not?
He didn't? I was so offended.
Fuck. That's bad. That is bad. That's bad form. But then we spoke last week and I was like, right, you need to come on the podcast. Because I feel like we've got lots to talk about. And you got your notes as well, which is very
got some notes because I've never done anything like this. I'm so nervous. So, yeah, anything that I say that's ridiculous, which generally comes up quite often, just cut it.
Okay, that's fine. Phil, you know what to edit out. So, right, I didn't prep you for this actually, putting you on the spot. If you were meeting someone for the first time or in a taxi or something like that and you say like, oh, so who are you? What do you do? That kind of thing. What would you say to people?
Top of my head, I might just say, hi, my name's Mike. I'm from Carlisle. I'm 39 and I don't know what you do, but I'm currently the director of the Cumbrian Distilling company. Nice to meet you.
Nice. That's cool. Are you excited for your 40th birthday next or not?
Cut. No, I'm using the number 39 as much as humanly possible, as long as I can. It's a little bit depressing. And no, I don't really do birthdays.
No.
You probably think I'm my Jehovah's Witness. I'm not. It's just, I don't really make a fuss on my own birthday. I don't really tell anyone. I've taken it off social media because, the next day you got to say, thanks everybody. I'm like, I can't be bothered with that, but I might go for a meal with my family, something like that, but it's always low key for me.
Yeah. Age is just a number anyway, isn't it, really? It's a funny one. I'm like 28 in a few weeks.
God, to be 28 again.
Yeah, and I think, one of my mates is 29 at the end of the year, and he's going to be 30 next year, and I just think, time just goes so fast, doesn't it?
It does, and especially when you start having children and whatnot, and your life goes like that. Well, it doesn't, but it feels like it does, so.
I can't even imagine what that would be like. Like, I think since I left school, it's gone so fast, but never mind when you have kids, when they're like the main priority, you have to just, I don't know, yeah, it's crazy. Right, let's go into the 3 facts then that you've prepped. What's the first one you got for us?
I've got some mushy stuff and I've got some, well, I think it's funny stuff, so I'll try to elaborate a bit into the third one. So first, fact, it's just literally a fact. I have 4 amazing children.
Bloody hell, that's impressive.
Yeah, so I've got a 19-year-old, I've got a 17-year-old, I've got looking down my notes, I've literally written it down. What's wrong with me? I've got a 9-year-old and a 6-year-old.
Bloody hell.
Yeah, crazy.
How's that being a dad for all them then? That must be carnage.
Well, 2 of them now, they've lived with their mum, they do other things and whatnot. The younger 2 live with my, current wife, and I'm going to keep this one. So, yeah, so I do it's like part-time dad stuff with the older 2, and then now getting to the age of like, this is what I want to do in life, and like, I'm not doing more of the dad stuff and more of the, do you think you should have done it this way? And let them forge their own path. Yeah. The younger 2, Clara, she's as about as girly girl as you could possibly get. And then you got Finley, who's, well, he's a bit mental, to be honest with you. It's just a bit feral. The youngest one always is a little bit like that. And he's absolutely nuts. But we love him.
Yeah. No, that must be so cool. That, like, I'd love to have kids in the future, but I don't think I'm ready yet. But it must be really like, is it the hardest job in the world, but the most rewarding at the same time, would you say? Or...
It's one of these things where people say, I won't know how to change a nappy. No one does. Yeah. You just kind of go for it. And then you just learn along the way and you make mistakes. I mean, it's like any walk in life, and what you do, you learn by making mistakes. Once you get knocked down, pick yourself back up again and crack on. Mm-hmm. That's the way parenting it. And no one's a perfect parent, believe me. Yeah. Especially this one.
Right, the second one, what are we saying?
So in my 20s, I stepped in at, the Brickyard venue. Mm-hmm. As the stand-in drummer for the sound check for Tony Hadley when his drummer was late.
Really?
Yeah. So
did you play drums?
I do. I haven't played for a kind of a long time, but I was still very keen, and I still would enjoy it. I don't have time anymore, building a business and whatnot. But I was there as the drummer for basically the other band, and they said, "Would you mind standing in?" And I was like, "Yes." So it was great. I loved it. So no, it was good fun. Yeah,
that's cool. I suppose it's like just being in the right place at the right time. Isn't it?
Absolutely.
That kind of thing? Yeah. What was that experience like then?
What was the experience like?
Yeah, doing it, yeah. Were you nervous? Apprehensive, excited?
No, back in those days, I was a little bit, not cocky, but a bit more cocksure of myself and whatnot. And I had a few lagers at that point and what have you. So, and like, yeah, I'll do it. So it was good fun. And we knew the songs, all the mainstream ones, and just went for it.
So when you're doing drumming then, how do you know like which ones to hit? If that makes sense.
If you've got rhythm and you've practiced, you know where you're going with it. It's not something you can really, if you've got rhythm, you can teach it, obviously. Yeah. But if someone's not musical, and it's a lot harder to say, this is what you need to do. I think of it like the force. It flows through you and whatnot. That's how rhythm works. Yeah. So when you're a drummer in a band or a percussionist I've done classical music as well and whatnot, and the big timpanis and what have you. You literally are the backbone of the band, as it were. You don't hold it together, it makes life a lot harder for the other members of the group to hold it together as well.
That's interesting because obviously I clearly don't have rhythm, because if I was on the drums, I'd be like, which one do I hit? I don't know these songs. What do I do? That kind of thing without any practice. Even when I was younger, I played like the clarinet, the guitar, the keyboard. Did I do anything else? I think that was it. But still, obviously I wasn't probably that good, but I wouldn't know like songs, how to play them, even if I knew the songs, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. How did you know that then? Which, like, to do that? Was it just like you say, you just feel it and just hit away?
So the way
I'm probably making it sound so stupid.
I didn't expect to go into the paradiddles and rhythms and all the rest of it. Well, for me, it's the way to do is I always learned a song ahead of time before I was going to go into the band kind of stuff. And when I was in the bands, we always had a CD of the basic track way ahead of time. So when we do come to officially practice, kind of know ballpark figure what we're doing. Mm-hmm. When you're in the likes of, youth orchestras and whatnot and things like that, it's a completely different kettle of fish where you're working off a conductor and you're reading the music. One thing that I was never very good at, and I still can't do, is read music. I kind of pretended and got away with it because I knew what the tracks were that we're going to be playing, like Toccata and D minor and stuff like that. And then I'd listen to it beforehand. I kind of knew what the professionals were doing and then copy it. Kind of got away with it. Not every time, but most of the time. But every musician's different. But for me, I like to make sure I prep. So when I do come to playing with the other people and whatnot, then make sure I'm doing the best that I can.
That's cool. That's really cool. And the third one. The funny one is this one.
This is
a lot of anticipation.
Well, that drum roll going. This is not a proven fact, but I'm pretty sure I'm the only now ex-Trinity School student who I had one detention, just the one. Mm. One detention because I fell in the River Eden, floated quite the way down while clinging on to dear life to a football.
What? That is quite funny. How did that happen?
Do you want me to go?
Yeah.
Right. So I don't know if I was year 10 or year 11. It was one of the two. But when the new year 7s come and join, some schools have these like buddy systems going. Yeah. So me being one of the good children, they asked me, would you look after this group of year 7s? Yeah, no problem. I had the little sticker with the smile on it. Talk to me. But these young lads that I was kind of overseeing, looking after, had dropped their football down the reeds and the wood bits where the river is, because anyone does Trinity School, the river meanders all the way around. Yeah. At the edges of the fields. So I said, lads, something like that. I'll go in and I'll grab this ball. I'm the most accident-prone person you'll ever meet. I really am. And then I fell in. I can swim to save my life, but I'm really not great. Yeah. And then the current just took me. So I don't remember panicking, but I remember flapping around like some kind of mental seal trying to get myself. I was hanging, literally the ball was my life. And you know where what was the Swifts golf course at the time? It's not there anymore. It's because I don't know what to do with it.
I remember Swifts, yeah.
So it curves all the way around. It left where the school was, curves all the way around. I thought, I'm going to have to get out here because I'm trying my best. So it wasn't all the way into the middle, but the current was still taking me. And then I thought, hang on, there's these rapid bits before you get to Eden Bridges where the sand centre is. I managed to get my foot further in. And there's this tree that kind of curved up, and this lovely, more elderly bloke says, climb up the tree, son, climb up the tree. And I ran and I said, I'm not a squirrel. So I eventually wanted to get out. I did manage to save myself, obviously. I'm still here. Yeah, just about. I saved the football, which is great. The kids got the football back. I walked in looking like some kind of soggy sash watch. And head of year just went, detention.
No way.
So actually, I didn't do it deliberately out of badness, but yeah, I floated down the river. Oh, great fun. You should try it sometime.
Yeah, after this, you'll see me floating down. But yeah, that's a pretty impressive story, though. And the thing is, how do you get detention from trying to do a good thing to look after the year sevens?
Because I think it's one of these things where
Just let them lead football.
But I put myself at risk, and that's why I got disciplined. I suspect anyway.
But can you remember the teacher's name? Do we need to call her out or him out?
Him, can't remember.
Oh, for fuck's sake. We could have got him there. So what were you like growing up then? It's like through school and stuff. What did you enjoy doing? What were your interests? What were your hobbies? That kind of thing?
For my life's taken twists and turns, and I've done all kinds of myself into different situations and whatnot. So, I mean, I grew up in a very strict Christian household where it was school and it was church and exercise was pretty much my life, really. I'm not naturally an extrovert at all, hence the reason I'm nervous for this and whatnot. Sorry if it's just you having a conversation with a camera, if it's a group full of people and whatnot, and it's like, it's not my cup of tea. But
the camera's scary as it is, because you think like, is that record? Oh, is that record?
Well, that's the access to eyeballs to potentially too many people that I don't want to see this podcast. So yeah, as I said, quite a strict Christian household. My parents we used to go to St. Paul's Church. Is it Lowther Street in Carlow? Yeah. Back in the day when my parents used to do lead the children's work. So I remember all that. I remember things of quite an amusing Christmas play that we had to do, where it was like themed over, Doctor Who.
Yeah, I used to love Doctor Who back in the day. Yeah,
it was like my father was like this detective Doctor Who thing where he was very loosely around Doctor Who, mind you, where he went back in time, real meaning of Christmas or something like that. Yeah, and then unfortunately my mother had to dress as the turkey. My father and I got exactly the same kind of humour where we say something to try and have a laugh, but sometimes it gets us into a little bit of hot water. So in front of quite a lot of people in the church, it was packed as it would be for Christmas anyway. Yeah. She's in this full turkey outfit and he says, "Crimes, imagine trying to stuff that in your oven." She was not impressed with him at all.
Did he get some laughs out there?
Oh, I just it is on the VHS somewhere. Back in the days of VHS.
Yeah, I remember.
But yeah, she had to go right outside the church and past people. She said, I didn't know what to say. I just went, oh, man.
Sounds like she could have a laugh about it, though.
Yeah, she does now, but back then, when she was mum, she was a scary one. Everyone has the scary parent and then the softer one. My dad was the softer one.
Yeah, that's very mine was as well, yeah.
Now I've grown up, she's not at all. She's nothing like that. I said, hang on. You were scary yourself. Where's this dragon gone? No, she's lovely. She's soft as anything. But
that's cool. What did you enjoy, like the academic side then, or was it extracurricular stuff, or any hobbies outside of school, or just
something maths and things like that, and one that wouldn't education wasn't my strong point. Still isn't. For anything that I need to get, be a qualification or whatever, I've got to really graft for it. I'm not naturally an information sponge. But things I really enjoyed and growing up was a lot of biking, basically. Oh, cool. I used to take myself off with my mountain bike, and there's a lovely track that goes from Denton home all the way to Dalston along the river, still there. Did it the other day, nowhere near as fast as I used to be able to do it, mind you. But yeah, I used to do that numerous times per week. A pal of my friends used to join. We used to do little campfires down by the river. You probably weren't meant to do that, but we did. Yeah. Things like that, really. And we did mountain biking as well in the Windlatter Forest and whatnot, flying off, breaking your legs, things like that. All great fun. So we didn't do a lot of like socializing in each other's houses. We were always out and about doing things. And this is before iPads. And
I was going to say, do you think kids still do that these days or not?
We try to make our two children be as out and about as much as we can. And we try to limit screen time as much as we can as well. Yeah. But it's the different generation. Is it Generation Alpha? These ones where they've grown up with knowing screens as the...
Is that what they're called? I have no idea.
Yeah, so I'm a millennial. What year were you born?
96, I'm a millennial, I think, yeah.
So I think you're Gen Z, and then you've got Gen Alpha, which is the youngest one that we currently have. Yeah. I remember seeing some Gen Alpha on YouTube where she's got literally a magazine and she's doing this with it as if it's a screen. A screen. It's like, oh, that's sad. Oh, but no, we try to get our kids out and about as much as we can. It's like, can we go on screen? Do you want to go on your bike instead?
It's hard though.
Yeah, I'd say we limit it as much as we can, but
because even when I was growing up, we used to like go into Head Snook. like near on the way to Brampton.
Yes.
And then like create dens and stuff, and like just trees and sticks and whatever and that. And I just feel like if I was growing up now, I probably wouldn't even do that. You know what I mean? Because like you say, you've got the temptation of the screens and stuff, because you think, why do we bother to go outdoors and be manual and stuff? But I suppose people still do it, but that's like part of the fun, isn't it? Like going out, playing football with your mates or whatever. Yeah. And I know people socialise on their Xboxes and on the headsets and stuff, but it's different. Like,
I've got X amount of friends. Like, have you really? Yeah. Have you ever met them? Oh, no, they're in Kansas. Oh, right. Okay, great. So, have some friends in where you live. Things like that. That's my older two, where they're on, I don't know, I say it, Fortnite, and they're on whatnot, and I don't know the games they play. And it was back in the days when I used to play Call of Duty. It's still a thing, and then my parents were like, Call of what? Yeah. I've realised now I'm the uncle parent where I haven't got a clue. It's not playing. So it's trying to get our kids off the screen as much as we can. In the village that we live in, we're lucky to have a great community where they all get together and band together. So when the kids are on holidays, there's this scheme called Get Your Kids Off Your Screen, where different parents go in and then maybe do bowling or tennis with the kids in the town, in the village hall and things like that. So we're lucky to have that, and just trying to get the kids a bit more active as well.
That's very cool. Very cool. So going throughout school then, was there any job that you wanted to do or anything you wanted to be or anything like that? Anything in particular? Had your heart set on, like me, I was wanting to be a footballer. That clearly didn't happen. But yeah.
Who for though?
Did play for Carlisle till I was like 14.
Okay.
Actually, fun fact, fun story. Last night when I was having tea with my mum and dad, my dad's retiring basically in April.
Uh-huh.
And he's been taking files off his computer. Sounds dodgier than it is. And he found a presentation that I did when I must have been about 11 or 12 about my football career. And
right.
It was like which teams I played for when I was like 8 and when I got signed for Carlisle, and then who was in my team, and 2 of my team actually play professional now and stuff. And then, if I get to 16, I'll get a YTS and 18 or whatever. And it was just weird. I don't even remember doing it. My dad doesn't remember me doing it and stuff. But yeah, that was my dream when I was.
Do you not want to give them a helping hand now? Because I think they need all the help.
I know. But the thing is, I think I could have been a professional if I just decided to play like right back or something. But I was more about like the glory and scoring goals. So when they moved me into defence, I was like, I'm not really enjoying this anymore.
Does that mean you're not a team player or?
I enjoyed being a leader. So like I enjoyed being like the captain or the main man in a team, if that makes sense. Okay. So like I was always captain the cricket team or captain the football team and that kind of thing. So I enjoyed like leading by example. And I think that's where I get my skill set now of like managing the team or like managing clients and hopefully setting a good example and good communication with everybody and that kind of thing. So it's interesting looking back and thinking, oh yeah, it makes sense why I was and what I'm doing now kind of thing. Whereas I didn't really play many solo sports, if that makes sense. Whereas I think that would be different if I played like, I did do a little bit of tennis, but not that competitively, you know what I mean? But it was always like football, cricket, rugby, and that kind of thing. And I enjoyed that like camaraderie, if that's the right way to say it, and that kind of thing. So yeah, what did you want to do, or what did you want to be?
Well, I mentioned to you before actually as well, but just joined a football team.
Yeah, you have,
yeah. I've come to that point in life where
that's exciting though.
I know it's a bit depressing at the same time. It's called Man versus Fat. So I'm not by any means a big bloke, but I need to get rid of the lockdown podge, shall we say. Before lockdown, I wasn't tweaked in by any stretch of the means, but I need to get back to that sort of healthier BMI. There's my branding falls. There we go. So it takes place once a week down at Harrowby, and it's one of the things where you go and you weigh yourself and whatnot. Don't worry about it, just drop it down, it's all good. And then you play some games with some other gentlemen in a similar situation, be really large or just not that large. Yeah. And it's like, well, it's as I said, I'm a bit nervous for it because my first time is going to be this coming Monday.
Definitely.
But it's always no judgmental. You just get stuck in and whatnot. And the names of the little teams that you're playing are hilarious. Fat Barcelona is one of them. The one I'm in called Parmesan Belgrade. So it's
sounds like a good
I'll report back to you what it's like, but I don't think you would qualify for it, I'm afraid.
Fuck. But no, honestly, one of my best friends from Cardiff, who I lived with, the last person I lived with before I came back, Charlie, you won't mind me saying this either, and he was extremely overweight, and he had been for a number of years, and he's joined it, a few
nationwide,
a couple of years ago, and like, where is he? He's obviously a big lad, and he's lost so much weight, like 5-10 stone or something. He was like big, and he absolutely loves it, and it's like one of the best things I think he's ever done. Like playing football in Cardiff and around there and stuff, and it's just, here it is. Yeah, I've actually lost 27% of my body weight since starting my weight loss journey, but probably like to pick up my 15% milestone, man versus fat, because that's the thing. It's calculated on the actual scoreline and the percentage that you've lost each week, isn't it? Something like that. Yeah,
you can get dog points and things like that for not leaving it on. So don't go to McDonald's.
But I think it's so cool because I've obviously never been, but like from what Charlie said, everyone's in the same boat, aren't they? Like they want to do something active, have a laugh, and they know they just want to shed a few pounds, and everyone's whereas like it's not judgmental and stuff like that. Whereas I don't know. I think it's cool that people do that, really, because
for me personally, it's kind of a big step. I've been humming and hawing for doing it for a while. One of the things is basically it's time. I don't have a lot of spare time. Just literally not building it from the ground up, but building a business from essentially grassroots. Because Cumbrian Distilling essentially has in the last 18 months has come from nowhere. So we made a lot of noise in the sort of the business community around Cumbria. But I thought once a week, a Monday, from 7 till 9, that's not me time, but that's time for well-being and whatnot, things like that. So that's all right. And that's blocked out in the diary. That's it. So let's see what happens the next 12 months.
Yeah, I think that'd be cool. Because, like you say, everyone's busy, aren't they? But if you just say, all right, this is the non-negotiable, this is in the diary, isn't it? Yeah. Doing this, everything else can work around it. And I feel that I feel bad when I don't go to the gym for like 2 days. I feel like sluggish and lethargic.
Oh, really?
And I don't feel like I make as good of decisions. I keep on banging on about it, but I've started running as well. I've done 4 runs now.
Oh, I've seen the posts on that.
Everyone says that. They're like, stop fucking posting about running. But I'm like, hopefully it can motivate somebody else to start, because for me, it's exciting. It's something new. And imagine when you start, I'll be nervous the first time. I was nervous doing my first run by myself, never mind joining like a club and a team thing. But yeah, for me, like the not drinking and being active and doing exercise, it just makes me sharper and like more energy as well, which is weird. I don't know.
So when you came off the happy juice, did you have any negative effects or?
Why I gave up? Or after?
Yeah, so you say, that's my last drink.
Oh, yeah. So
wets and anything like that? I'm not saying were you an alcoholic, right?
No. It was basically just because I was living in Cardiff, went to uni in Cardiff, and stayed there for 2 years after uni, and then COVID happened, moved back home. And that was like March, wasn't it? It was meant to be like 3 weeks. So I was like, I'll come back, whatever. And then it kept on going on and on and on. And then me and my business partner at the time split in June 2020.
Right.
So I had to restart my business again from zero, no clients and stuff. And then things started opening up. I hadn't seen my friends because I was living away, going out, being one of the lads, like alcohol, girls, all that kind of stuff when you're like 24, whatever. And then it got to like the August. So it was like 3 months, 3 months. I maybe had a couple of clients and wasn't making any money and stuff. And I was just thinking, what do I want in my life? At 24, I think it's quite interesting. Not many people maybe think that. I don't know why I did. I think it was just like, it's COVID, you had a lot of time to think, didn't you? And then I was thinking, what's holding me back from progressing in my business? It's me being, not that I was an alcoholic, but I'd like binge drink Friday, Saturday, you know what I mean, out to whatever time. Yeah. Then I wouldn't open my laptop till Monday, Tuesday or whatever. And then it'd be Thursday, Friday again, and that vicious cycle.
Right, got you.
And then I followed a YouTuber, so I followed YouTube, and he gave up for like 6 months. I thought, I'll do 3 months. And then it was the August bank holiday, went out like 3 nights in a row, was being sick and everything, hardly eaten. And then I said, right, after this, I'm going to stop, I'm going to do 3 months, see how I feel, and then go from there. And then first month, didn't really feel much difference. I had a lot of peer pressure from my friends being like, oh, come on, I'd have like alcohol-free stuff. And the second month, I felt really, really good, like more energy and that kind of thing. And yeah, just after the 3 months, just carried on. It's been like, 3.5 years now, something like that.
No, good on you.
But for me, like everyone's different, aren't they? For me, it's easier to not do it than do it in moderation. Whereas one of my friends, Henry, who's doing the Barcelona half marathon on Sunday, who I'm going to see, he'll say, do like stints. So he'll like drink over Christmas and then he'll be like sober for 3 months and then he'll like enjoy it for his birthday or something like that. And my brain doesn't work like that, you know what I mean? It's either all or nothing kind of thing. Yeah. That's what I mean. Like everyone's different, you know what I mean? There's people who are far more successful than me and drink alcohol It doesn't mean like you have to.
Well, every human being is different, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's just what works for you and what works for me.
Yeah.
And for me, my purpose is to not get to like 30 and have a failed business and regret it, knowing that I could have done more. Whereas if I get to 30, I know 30 is not too far away, and then just think, all right, I've done all that I can, no excuses. And if it's failed, it's failed. But if it hasn't, then I think, all right, fuck yeah, I'm doing something right. And I just look back at like the last 3 years and see the progress that I've made. And I think, for me, why would I? You know what I mean? But everybody is different. I know we're talking about alcohol here, but everyone is different. You know what I mean? So what's your relationship like with alcohol then? Do you...
Ups and downs.
Yeah.
So obviously, it's like the whole kind of things. It's got to be in moderation. This pod here, I'm trying to get rid of the footy because I don't have really a bad diet, as it were. But it is down to it's basically it's a bit of belly. So yeah, of course, like everybody, most people have had too much on occasions. But now working for or on running a distillery, it's very much ingrained into us that drink responsibly and in moderation and whatnot. So. But yeah, so
that's what I wouldn't do though, because I enjoyed being drunk, but not the drinking part. You know what I mean? So I didn't drink for enjoyment. I'd drink to get drunk.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So you wanted the euphoria of the alcoholic effect.
That was
right?
it. Yeah. So let's move on from that and let's talk about. So what was like your first job then out of school? Would you say?
My first job out of school. I've done quite a lot of different things.
Yeah.
So
what are the memorable ones that got you to where you are today? Anything you want to share?
Thank you for this question. So I've done quite a few different things, and because I hadn't forged my path properly. So I'm a bit of a late bloomer, shall we say. Sorry about the temperature here, by the way. Can you see the breath coming?
That's all right, yeah.
It's freezing. So I was a retail butcher with Pioneer Foods for a while.
Oh, cool.
I decided I didn't want to do that after a while because I quite liked my fingers on my hands.
Did you chop any off?
So yeah, well, I've got some scars still.
Oh, I was expecting to be like, yep, and I've chopped this one off.
So that, don't get me wrong, I enjoyed it whilst I was there, but this isn't really for me. I've also used to work for a care company where I go on different elderly and disabled people's homes and did interpersonal care, make meals and whatnot, things like that. So
that'd be rewarding, I'd imagine.
It was one of the best jobs I've ever done because you get to meet so many different kinds of people. And not blowing smoke on my own dairy. I'm quite good with different personalities because I've met now these different kind of people. And whenever sort of, shall we say, a challenging client came on board, he's kind of, oh, Mike, he's lovely, but can we add him to your, right? Oh, dear God. So yeah, I've had obviously some run-ins with some people who didn't want the carer to be there and stuff like that. But I used to try and make a joke of it, things like that. So I know an elderly lady where it's not great having a bloke coming in, but we got over that situation. There's always this running joke where has Mike hidden the plastic duck in the bathroom? Because that takes the mind off everything else that was on. So, and then we got on great for things like that. So, and I have some fascinating conversations with some amazing people. There's a gentleman called Bill Coles, rest his soul, he's left us now. But he was obviously a captain in World War II. He's telling me all about his stories, unbelievable stories. And then he used to love the race circuit down in somewhere, is it in London, called Brooklands? If you give that a Google, it's a car called a Napier Railton went round it. It's 120 miles an hour, which was like warp speed to people back then, isn't it? And then, in the days of when the guys were literally, I don't know if they were strapped in, but just got goggles on and just went for it. And then it was always like an oval curved. And it was, James May did a thing on it when, he used to do, he made a full-size Lego house. Have you seen that series?
Yeah.
He does one on Brooklands where he gets a scale extra track to go all the way around. It was absolutely fascinating to watch, but I love it because I like, obviously, the silliness of stuff that James May does, but also history behind what he's talking about as well. So, give Brooklands a Google. It's really interesting.
Because I imagine, like, speaking to elderly gives you just like a different perspective on life, isn't it? Because I don't know, I would think that they're so wise on life and they would give you the most real and authentic advice. That makes sense?
Yeah, you've clearly not met my mother, so.
I know that I was speaking to a girl and she dealt with like end of life people and said that like, the stuff that they would say just like hit hard and be like, oh yeah, like nothing really matters at the end of the day. You, I don't know, go around day to day and you think, oh, fucking hell, that's so bad, or that's so annoying. And you think the bigger picture, really.
Yeah, I mean, it puts life into perspective, doesn't it? So we get annoyed with the most silly of things and what, like me, I get annoyed with my air fryer. And why do I? Come on, Mike, it's a sodding air fryer. Yeah. But it's just my first funny thing I did the other week where I got a bit of a slap for it. My wife Rachel loved it a bit. She's quite feisty. Don't get on the wrong side.
Keeps you on your toes, that one.
She's ginger haired. When she was using the air fryer and I was doing a video, I went, ginger, ninja. She was not impressed at all. So that's the kind of thing where I tried to get a laugh, but maybe I shouldn't have said that. But I say, when we speak to people, you just mentioned the end of life care and things like that, it really just puts things into perspective, doesn't it? I mean, so many of us obviously have lost loved ones as well, but we need to realise on a day-to-day basis of just not chill out, but things, there are more important things in life than a broken air fryer or the oven's going pop and stuff like that. Is it going to kill you? Of course it is. Craft on, you'll get around it and things like that. So, even working in this distillery, things don't always go to plan. As in,
shock horror.
Oh, hey, believe me. So it's, what's really amazing about this place is that we not learn as we go, because obviously for all the legal reasons about running a distillery, HMRC, paying your duty and whatnot, everything has to be absolutely bob on. But, when we're experimenting on, say, right, we're going to make this new flavour, it takes so long to get there and whatnot. But there's mistakes along the way and whatnot, and we're still making them now, and
it's progress, though, isn't it? If you're not making mistakes, you're not making any progress.
We're not learning if we don't make mistakes, how can we learn? So it's every day is a new learning day, isn't it?
Yeah. So how did this come about then? How did it come about, Cumbria Distilling Co?
So for me, my own personal journey, Cumbria Distilling Co came out of turning a negative situation into a positive one. So I used to work for the Lakes Distillery down at Bassenthwaite Lake. I was literally just a rep for North Cumbria in the northeast of the UK. And then, internal changes happened and I was made redundant. And so many people over the years and their lives have been made redundant. So that's my first and hopefully last. Touch wood.
Wood over there, quick.
Yeah.
Touch my head.
It's MDF, but there we go. Figure of speech, touch wood. Yeah. And then I decided to take 3 months of saying hello to the wife and children again and doing bits around the house and whatnot. We'd recently moved houses, so things hadn't really got done. So it took 3 months to sort of not downtime, but reset button time. And during that time, a lovely bloke called Paul Carruthers approached saying, I've got this tiny little distillery. We do bits here and there. I really think there's legs in it where it could really go somewhere, but I haven't got the time and energy to put into it because he's got his own day job and whatnot. And I thought, you know what? Yeah, that's really interesting because I'd learned how to do repping and whatnot. And the new things for me was learning, not a distiller, because Paul obviously does the distilling side of things, but I did the blending and adding the additives and whatnot into our products. I had to learn all of that as well as the repping and everything else that comes with running a business. And I thought, something, for this to be a success, all I need to do is put as much graft as I possibly can, and then with our vision, and then what has now come to pass has. But when I joined, we literally had the Carlisle Gin brand, where it did bits here and there. But really the big, honestly, unbelievable. The project is building a brand for the future, a brand that is authentic, genuinely authentic. They are made here in Cumbria. That's a big thing for us. And also that it can be like an ambassador for the county. So you have lots of amazing brands around this county, but we wanted a brand that speaks for the county. And that's why Cumbria Distilling Co. is what it is today.
That's cool though. I suppose just like, I find it interesting how like one moment can change like your path, isn't it? So like if you didn't bring or ask you think, oh, where'd you be now? But obviously taking on that responsibility.
Yeah. How
did that feel for you then? Because I remember you said last time we spoke, this is the best job you ever had. So,
yes.
Yeah. Wasn't the hardest as well.
Yeah. People say, when I describe what I do on a day-to-day basis, and they say, is that not really stressful? And they say that to me like the look of fear in their faces. And I'm like, well, I guess it is stressful, but I don't feel as stressed as I would do if I've got a line manager breathing down my neck. So Paul, bless him, basically he's not full free rein because it's his company at the end of the day. But and how can I describe it? I literally run the entire company. We were at a trade show last year. We were speaking to people. Paul says, it's my company. It's kind of really Mike's, really. He runs it. And it's that kind of working relationship I've got with him. But with the stress and whatnot, I don't overdo it. So we only do what we can sensibly achieve. So, for example, we're doing stock checks and bits and bobs today. We've got a young lad working next door who's doing a stock check. We've got spirit always in the tanks. So when stock gets low, we know in the diary to make sure that we've got more. So there's always stock around, so we're not stressed making stock. So it's about the planning. The only really stressy bits is all the data input things for when you pay your duty to HMRC and whatnot, and getting all the banking bits and bobs, because that's new to me. I'm not an accountant or anything like that, but I do all the payments and whatnot and wages and things like that. So yes, it's stressed, but only if I choose it to be stressful.
It's your mindset, isn't it?
Really? Yeah, and I say, I haven't got a manager breathing down my neck, which I don't know how you feel, but how many companies do you see that people are in managerial positions or positions of power? If the ones that crave power are not the good natural leaders, and that's not me saying, oh, I'm a wonderful leader or anything like that, but I want to make sure that I treat our staff in the way that I would want to be treated. If a member of your staff feels, welcome, part of the furniture, part at home, they feel valued, you get more yield out of your employee.
Yeah.
And we don't do that to get more yield. Of course we do in a sense, but at Cumbrian Distilling, we want to make it an amazing working environment that people want to come and work for us. And we're already seeing that as well from staff members from other distilleries, not naming names, that's unfair, sending in applications to us because it's amazing. So it's a good position for us to be in.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's like, so it is kind of selling it, but like how you sell the vision as well, isn't it? And like because people can always go somewhere else for more money or whatever, can't they? And do whatever. But like if they're choosing to work with you, aren't they? And that kind of thing, or that they want to work with you. And my small team, they choose to work with me. They could probably go somewhere else and earn more money or do their own thing and stuff like that. And it's just, I don't know, like you say, treating people how you want to be treated and actually like caring.
Yes.
Like show that you care. Like you do obviously care, but actually showing an invested interest. Even like I find little things like, what do you get up to at the weekend? You know what I mean? Simple things like that, because believe it or not, everyone's favorite topic of conversation is themselves. So they can talk about themselves forever. Let me just,
not for me.
So we've done
trend there.
We've done 40 minutes of you so far, so it's going well. But yeah, I think it's cool. So how would you say you kind of envisage it? Because obviously this is relatively new, isn't it?
It joined us in December.
Yeah. So how was the transition, and where do you kind of see this kind of going? Because obviously, like you say, we're 3 months into it.
Yeah. So like with anything that we do at CDC, we build sensibly and slowly. So we're putting stock where the locals will see it, the tourists will see it. As a company, we can't put it absolutely everywhere yet because we haven't got the capacity to do that. But what we're doing, we've got a 5 to 10 year plan. So by the end of hopefully 5 years, but definitely 10 years, we want to be the dominant white spirits distillery, or gin and vodka distillery supplier for Cumbria, and maybe for wider as well.
That's cool.
So it's a big vision for a small company, but with the staff that we're bringing on board, putting the infrastructure that we've got, by the time of the next few years, we'll certainly be on the right track to do so. And, slowly catching monkey. We're doing it very slowly in terms of being as sensible as possibly we can. We've all heard the, walk before you can run. Yeah, I've worked for much bigger distilleries in the past and whatnot, and I could go and get these much bigger deals, but I haven't got the capacity to do that yet. Maybe in 12 to 18 months' time we will have, but as I say, at the moment this year is about more the brand awareness, because the brand is here. It looks fantastic. As I say, what we mentioned is we've designed it to be like an ambassador for the county, and wanted people to feel like it's not their brand, but we want people to be involved. So when we do the development of these products, we're out and about asking, what would you like to see on the shelves? And we're doing that with the end consumer as well as our trade partners, because and I've worked for distilleries in the past where you basically turn up a potential client. This is what we've got, take it or leave it. Obviously, we don't present it like that, but that's what most companies do. But we want the Cumbrian consumer to be part of the journey as well. So we kept getting asked constantly for rhubarb gin. I'm like, rhubarb gin's been done to death because the pairing of rhubarb and
Rhubarb and ginger.
Exactly.
Yeah. Remember, I'm not an alcohol person.
So
I should think that.
I'm going to do it. One, we're going to make sure that it's absolutely bob on, because I will not let anything go out that door until it's absolutely spot on. And secondly, we're going to do it in the our primary brand. So that's why we've got the rhubarb gin here as well. So
yeah, and there's loads of details on the bottles as well, isn't there?
So yes, we've got the nondescript Cumbrian fells, because I think we're getting ourselves quite a lot of hot water if I'm starting Scafell, Pike and Helvellyn on the side of our bottles. But what's great about these is that they are bespoke to us. There's no labels involved. It's fully printed, wrapped all the way around. So you got the fells wrapped all the way around, as I say. You've got a lake at the bottom. And then once the liquid's inside, what you'll be able to see is 3 herdies on the back.
Yeah.
And also 2 ospreys as well. So it's kind of like different nods to different parts of the Lake District and the county in there as well.
Yeah, that's cool. I think they definitely do stand out, and they will stand out on the shelves 100%, because it's the main thing, isn't it? There'll be so many different brands there.
Yeah.
So you want to be able to stand out. And like you say, if you've got the relatability of Cumbria, then yeah, you'd be onto a winner, really. But I think going back to the sustainable growth thing, I think that's quite a cool mindset to have, because lots of people, like say, if you wanted to get the bigger deals, you probably could. And it's like, there's no point going up like that and then not being able to service the demand, isn't it? And then you're offering, and it's like, oh, well, they've overpromised it and they've undelivered, and you think, oh, that's not good for the brand, is it? If you're thinking long term, because I think a lot of people do think short term these days.
The quick wins and the quick bucks, yeah.
The quick cash, and it's easy to, I feel like it's easy to make a lot of money in the short term if you try and if you need to. But like, hopefully we're all going to be around for a long time. So it's about the long-term game, isn't it? You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Because you see so many like businesses like pop up for a year or two and then you never hear them again and stuff. But
yeah, exactly. And then you get a lot of that in the sort of alcohol community where you see there's this fantastic unicorn gin with glitter in it, and then it's a flash in the pan brand and it's gone. So they're not literally gone, but people have had it and then got bored of it. And then we want one sustainable in terms of its production, because we're as green as we possibly can, and then also sustainable in terms of we want a continuation of people to purchase it because they really, really enjoy it. So that's why we try to make we do make our products fully authentic for a start. We employ local people. Authenticity is the most important part of what we're doing. There's a lot of smoke and mirrors in terms of, especially in gin and vodka production. Yes, we can't have people coming in because it's a private distillery at the moment, because it's basically, this is the first distillery location that we've had, and we get questions all the time. We get mixed up with the big distillery in Bath and Swain Lake saying, can I book a tour? And I'm like, no, can't. Your bistro's open, isn't it? No, I've got a kettle and a microwave. So then, just run it for a tour. And I said, if we did tours, it'd take you 3 minutes. It's absolutely tight. But eventually, what the plan is to have we're already know where Mark II is going to be. It's still going to be private location. We need more warehousing space. But eventually, what we would absolutely love, where it's going to be, I don't know. And it might not happen, but what we would love to do is to have basically your walk-in shop, visitor centre, place where people can hire the room for business meetings and whatnot. And also we can do like little gin schools or vodka schools or cocktail making masterclasses and bits and bobs. Ideally somewhere close to the M6 or something like that. So access for transport is a lot easier. But eventually something like that where you can't have a tour, but you can come and visit and spend some time and learn a bit more about the products and whatnot. So you can't do here.
Yeah, no, that'd be cool, wouldn't it? Because I feel like in-person events, I don't know, they just seem few and far between these days, don't they, really? As if you can actually come in and get a feel of something, that'd be cool.
No, I think post-COVID, I think the world's certainly changed, isn't it? Because I used to run all kinds of tasting events and bits and bobs before, and we're trying to feed them back into the community again now. We've got an event coming up at the end of the month at Gretna. In a hotel where we're doing a masterclass. So what we're trying to do is do it a little bit different. So instead of people just come for a good time, which we do want them to have, obviously, and they always do, Well, there was that once. We're not going to answer that one. That was my mistake, not the company. And it's from a different company anyway, so it's Cumbrian Distilling is fully clean. So what, and especially with Connor, who's doing a stock check next door, he's probably bored out of his life now, but bless him. When these guys will come in, we'll introduce ourselves, the company, blah, blah, blah. And then they'll have the first drink that we'll pour and make for them. But the second one, they've all got a Boston shake or cocktail shake, and they're going to make their own drinks and learn how to make them at home as well. So we'll take them on that journey. So we'll serve one, they'll make one. We'll serve one, they'll make one. They'll probably double vision by the end of the night, but
yeah, they're definitely not going to remember how to make it.
Yeah. So what was that again? Sambuca? No. But no, when we've done events like that, it's different. It's obviously being done before, but you don't see a lot of that happening in Cumbria. Well, I'd say Gretna's not in Cumbria, but we're doing all kinds of events throughout the year as well here in Cumbria. So please do keep an eye on us and contact us if you would like a tasting event at some point during the year.
That's exciting. Then, what else have you got planned then in the near future? Would you say? Because obviously we record this. I can't believe it's February already. That's mental. What have you got planned for this year then? Like as we're in February now. Is any plans for 2024 or anything you got in the pipeline that you want to share that isn't top secret?
Well,
it's more of the same.
It is more of the same really. What we're doing is it's brand awareness, and that Cumbrian Distilling it's a new up-and-coming brand, and we're trying to get as much exposure as we possibly can. So we're doing things like last year we did the Cumberland show, the one hot day of the year that we had last year, because every other event that we did that's been under a gazebo where I'm doing the selling and telling people about the brand, and you've got Connor who's literally structurally integral to the part of the gazebo holding it down. Because we do the Taste Cumbria events as well.
Yeah.
And there's various different ones. The first one we're doing is in Wigton, which is quite a good one actually. I wouldn't have thought, but it really is. Okay. And then we do Taste of the Sea, which is in.
If you don't die by the end of this podcast, it's positive.
Which is in Maryport. And it was the one of the ones where do we cry it off because of the weather? That's the organisers. But what they did was we thought it was a good idea. We'll take you off there. Is it Senhouse Street? Because it's going to be really, really windy and bad weather. I'm going to put you down at the harbour.
What? It's not that they works.
Everyone went, are you sure that's a good idea? And the wind and rain whipped in. You kind of like, I said, I can't move. If I move, it's going to be Wizard of Oz and this thing's going to fly off. So no, that was interesting. But we do like the Taste Cumbria events, the Cockermouth one in the summer and at Christmas. There's like 2 flagship ones that are really good. But this year we're trying to, every year that we're going to be, we are in business, we're going to be adding and trying to get better and better and better at what we do. So instead of a gazebo down at the yard, Paul is refurbing a trailer. So it's our events trailer. So instead of in the gazebo, where we'll rock up with this amazing looking trailer, and then you can walk in and it's one part retail shop, part, your curved bar. So we can do 2 different things, basically retailing. And also we can do, for example, at the Cumberland show, people can have a gin and tonic or a vodka and lemonade or something like that.
Yeah, that's cool. So that's going to be more of a statement, isn't it, as well? People will be like, fuck's that trailer kind of thing, rather than, is that gazebo going to fall down?
So, yeah, we're going to try and use gazebos as little as possible.
Yeah, that's exciting. And it's quite refreshing just to hear that just do more of the same and just build sustainably, because a lot of people, I think, do want to run before they can walk kind of thing. So, especially I'd imagine it's such a competitive industry as well, isn't it? With so many, like you say, brands popping up and the ones that have been around for ages and stuff.
Yeah.
And like still following the trend of like the rhubarb gin, but not just being too like following the hype as well, isn't it? Because I suppose it's that easy to do. Think, all right, well, I could just do this and that'd last for maybe 3 months, and then we've got loads of stock left over and stuff.
Yeah. So we've got the British gin, which is our take on like the classic recipe London dry gin of how it used to be. I believe very strongly, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I drink and I enjoy the more complex, we get more busy brands. I mean, in the terms of they've got 22 botanicals and whatnot, and we don't do that. We do them a lot because we want our gin to be a great sipping gin, G&T, but also when you put it into a cocktail, the gin doesn't dominate the cocktail. So that's what we're trying to do with it, and we have achieved that with this. We've got the British vodka as well. The only difference between these two is this bad boy has got botanicals in. This one hasn't. People don't realise it's the same DNA wheat spirit that we use. And then going for classic flavours. So we've got a citrus one, which is the Valencia orange. We went through different kinds of orange flavours to get to where we are today. So the Valencia orange is like, it's the royalty of oranges, isn't it? It's the best you can get. So if we're going to do something right, let's do it. Make sure we've got the right orange. And also we've got the rhubarb gin, because constantly get the rhubarb gin. So
yeah, it just seemed popular, the rhubarb gin. Like even my friends, when they go out, they order rhubarb gin. If I was still drinking, I'd definitely drink the vodka. I was more of a vodka Diet Coke. Very a simple taste. My taste buds aren't very overdeveloped. But yeah, I think, it's cool. And like you say, not doing too many and just being very good at a few things at the moment and know where you're at, isn't it? Rather than trying to do too much.
Less is more. Yeah. And we get the question asked of us a heck of a lot saying, there's gins everywhere these days, not too competitive. So my, textbook response to them is, would you say that to a winery or a vineyard? Think of how many wineries and vineyards and different wine brands out there. Would you don't think of that then? So why should you gin?
Yeah.
So
I think it's more of an opportunity, isn't it? Because people are already spending money on gin. So like, it's just moving that money towards you, isn't it? And getting them to choose you instead of
please do.
And that kind of thing though, isn't it? Because I can only relate to this when I used to run events back in the day when I was at uni, and when I finished uni, that was my first ever business. And it's much easier to get people who are already going out to come to your event than trying to get people to come out for your event, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So similar to this, it's harder for people to, I'd imagine, to get people to start drinking gin to buy a gin than it is people who already drink gin to try a gin. That makes sense.
It does, absolutely.
But yeah, right, let's go into the last section then. So I did prep you, didn't I? So what did I prep you? What were the questions? Because I prepped people for different questions.
My notes thinking, I've got to the end of this. I've completed this scary task. No, I've still.
Was it biggest mistake in personal business?
Both personal, or do you want just
up to you? If you want to do both,
one of each.
Yeah, do both.
So personal one it's a bit mushy, but it's true, and I still make this mistake constantly. I don't spend enough time with my wife and my family.
Okay,
because my mind is 99.5% on this. Building a brand, and maybe it's OCD in my mind, but I do need to spend more and push myself to spend more time with my kids, all of my kids, and my wife as well. So,
do you think you'll be doing that moving forward, or do you think?
Absolutely. I mean, life isn't the easiest at the moment because Father, bless him, has vascular Parkinsonism, if I can say that properly. So that's a bit like dementia. So it's like having falls and bits and bobs. So I've got that added level of, I've got a business to run, I've got a family to look after, and I've also got the elderly care with my mother's fully compass and his main care and all. So I've got that added extra pressures as well. Yeah. So it's where I'm trying to put my time in sensible places, and it's not always easy, and I don't always achieve it. That's all. But yeah, that's the personal side of things.
Tough though, isn't it? It's like, it's to balance everything. It's so hard. Like, what is the right balance? I don't know. And that's the thing for me. Like, I think people who are in business and they have families and stuff and they're able to manage that, I find that amazing. Whereas for me, it's easy because I just have to look after myself. You know what I mean?
You're lucky son.
I know, literally. All I have to think about is myself. Yeah, it's selfish, but like, that's why I want to use these years to just focus when I don't have any other factors of like a girlfriend, kids, a dog or whatever, and I can just laser focus. Whereas, like you say, if you're juggling all of that stuff,
I think it you go along.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I feel like you just adjust your stress or pressure threshold as you go, don't you? And then it becomes the norm. Then you do more and you do more. And probably if you look back like a year or two, you think, I'll never be able to handle this amount of pressure a couple of years ago. But it's just normal now, isn't it? So what was the business mistake?
So I won't go into any specifics because it's not right to do so. But for me, I've always, in the most recent years, struggled with confidence.
Yeah.
Still do. When you had me say, can you do this podcast?
I backed you into a corner. You couldn't say no.
You will do it. I've not had the confidence in certain business situations and scenarios and meetings and whatnot where I should have spoken out and I haven't, which could have changed the direction of certain companies and not like massive. I'm not making big impact, but basically, I should have, and I do have now more of that because I feel more empowered in what I do now to not be opinionated as such, but when the time is right to speak out, you know in your heart and your mind when it is, have the confidence to do it. And I've always been disappointed with myself and feel deflated at the end of the day because I should have said that. So that's for me personally, well, not personally, but that's the business side.
Yeah, that's a big thing, isn't it? Confidence, really. Because my mum and dad always say, like, you always regret the things you don't do. So
yes.
Like, I'd rather just like say something, and if they don't like it, that's fine. But yeah, it's like do my business thing. I'll only regret it if I don't do it. You know what I mean? But I suppose like confidence is a massive thing, isn't it? How do you think you're trying to get over that? How are you trying to build it? Would you say little things like tips and tricks you could give to people, or anything?
Forcing yourself, basically. It's if you end up speaking your mind and upsetting someone, which is my main failing. I don't want to upset people. I feel gutted when I've upset them because when I was younger, I was very opinionated. When I was in like church bands and stuff, and I think people, the other members of the group, got sick of me. Well, it's got something to say. But when I've always been the way where my personality is, if I'm going to do it, I want it right, which works great for this, but not sometimes when you're working with others, because your own personal goals and expectations of what you're doing, not everybody's the same.
Yeah, I found that hard as well to me, just that, definitely.
So that's something I've learned along the way, but it's getting over it is just forcing yourself, making sure it's the right thing to say at the right time, do it. And if you get yourself into hot water, apologise, but there's a reason why you said that thing. I've done it most recently with a young Connor out there where something we didn't agree with. I thought, I'm going to have to say something, but it's not what you say, it's how you say it and how you approach it. And we got out of an awkward situation quite easily. And it was absolutely fine.
Yeah. Would you say it's like confrontation then? That's what I struggle with, or just...
I don't like confrontation. I do struggle with it.
I think everyone doesn't like it though, do they really?
Oh, I've met some ones that love it.
Really?
Thrive off it. Yeah.
I'm definitely not that kind of person, but yeah. Some conversations are awkward though, aren't they? And you just think, I definitely don't need to have this, but I will feel better after. And you always do feel better after, don't you? Like I say, getting off your chest.
I have a feeling you might edit that bit out. Unless you do outtakes, do you?
Yeah. Right, if you've just seen that, the microphone just hit me on the head. Because I need to, every 20 minutes my laptop goes off, so I have to like refresh it to make sure it's still recording. Gone on for a tangent there. I can't remember what I was talking about. I lost my train of thought. I'm talking about confidence. What was the last thing I said? Did I say greatest strength and greatest weakness?
I can't remember. I'm still laughing inside. Microphone smashing you on the end.
Oh, bloody hell. Phil, you have to keep that one in. That's funny. But yeah, what would you say your greatest strength is and your greatest weakness?
Oh, I hate these questions.
Say your greatest weakness first. It's always easier to negative.
My greatest weakness?
Yeah.
There's so many. That's the problem.
Just pick one.
Can literally do like a subject.
Yeah.
Maths. And I work in sales mainly.
Really?
Yeah.
Just like numbers and stuff in general?
Only because I'm scared of them, I can actually do it. My mind works differently. I had an amazing teacher. There's this crazy guy. He jumped on the tables in Trinity School. And he's called a Canadian bloke. He's called Mr. Salmon. It was just nuts. We always have these one or two teachers that you remember for the rest of your life. He worked out that I wasn't thick. I felt thick because everybody else could do the maths in a certain way. Instead of my brain going this way in the calculation, my brain goes this kind of way in the calculation.
Okay.
So ever since then, I've been able to do it, but it's still, maths is not mine.
Yeah, that's interesting. Maths was probably the only thing I was really good at, to be fair. I think I get that from my dad. Maths and PE, I was always bad at English, like writing and stuff and reading. I just couldn't write it. I think I just couldn't concentrate. I think I'm better at, if there is a definitive answer, or if there is a definitive result, I can work that out. Whereas if there's like an open-ended answer, I'm less good at that, if that makes sense.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So like English writing and stuff, I wasn't the best at, or like geography, even though I did geography. But yeah. And then what would you say your greatest strength is then?
I think I'll go with compassion.
Yeah. I think, I agree from what you've said, yeah.
I think there's been quite not loads where I've been planned to go to a sales call pre-planned with a buyer. They say, I remember one that was just our pub. You do the greetings or how are you, and then suddenly actually I don't feel great, and they said the reason why, and actually I just followed the meeting notes to one side, just have a chat and have a catch up, and that's the joy of what we can have the freedom to do with not these products but this company, where we're here to sell and make money and want and build a business for the future, but also we love talking to people as well. If people want to have a chat with us and catch up, we're here for that as well. Yeah, relationships are the most important thing. People buy from people. Yeah, at a distance,
and that's the the shock horror, I think, that people obviously are in business to make money, aren't they? Like, that's why you do it, isn't it? But at the end of the day, like, relationships are key, because if you don't have good relationships, then I can't remember, I was doing a podcast maybe with somebody or speaking to somebody. If you do something good or you like got a good product, that person will probably tell one person, oh yeah, CDC's really good. But if it's bad or you have a bad experience, they'll quickly tell 50 people straight away, like, oh, they're fucking shit, whatever. But it's just the way of the world, isn't it? So like that's why it is important to have compassion and for relationships and that kind of thing, I think. So yeah, that's definitely a good strength to have. Right, where can people find you, follow you, plug all the stuff, personal business?
So we're on various social medias. So currently we've got Facebook and Instagram are the two main ones, but I think we've got TikTok coming very soon and YouTube and whatnot, but I'm sure you can help us out with that. Best thing to look for is if you're on the interweb is cumbridistilling.co.uk. We've got a very simple point-and-click website and learn a bit more about the products and whatnot, and it's got all the contacts on there.
Mm-hmm. And where can people contact you if they were interested in getting the products and stuff?
If people want to contact them directly, simply just go for, if you're on Instagram, Cumbrian Distilling Mike, but also if you just simply go Mike at cumbridistilling.co.uk, you can email me directly.
Perfect. Right, everybody, if you have listened and watched on YouTube, make sure to like the video, subscribe, comment your favourite part. Any questions I might leave in the comment section below. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple, make sure to follow the podcast and leave a 5-star review. And see you next time. Bye.